Hey guys, Josh Greisen here coming at you now with another Starlink update video. I finally took the time to put together some footage of me connecting to the Stadia servers and playing games over that on a Starlink internet connection. I know a lot of people were wondering how well does that work, and so I got that for you today. Before I did it, I went ahead and did a quick speed test so you could kind of see what it was looking like before I started. So first thing I'll do here is play that speed test. So here's the screencast of me doing the speed test right before I did most of the gaming. You can see here the ping was 32 milliseconds and the download I think ended up being right around 100, yeah. Then the upload was around 20. So it's actually pretty average from what I've been seeing over the last month or two. I generally bounce around between 80 and 150 on the down and anywhere from 15 to 30 on the up. So this is kind of right in the middle of that. So that's what it was looking like right before I did all the testing. And so the big question is, you know, is the latency good enough? Is the connection consistent enough? You know, what is the gaming experience when you're actually trying to stream against one of these streaming services versus playing on your local computer and just sending your input-output to like a gaming server? Because it's a lot. In theory, it's a lot more data because you're sending the screen refreshes down to your machine. So they have to keep that in sync. You got your input and output, and then you have your screen refreshes coming down, and they got to be in unison. Otherwise, you're going to notice pretty easy. So the good news is, you know, kind of spoiler here, when things are going well, it actually plays well enough for me not to care. It seems like it's any other internet connection most of the time. So I'll go ahead and give you just a quick little snippet here of what that looks like. Put it on, let's see, I think I said 450 is kind of a good spot here. This is, you know, a good little 10-minute session. I played about 3 or 4 hours just to give you guys an idea of how much playing I actually did. So here we go. See here. I like hitting people. A little bit of commentary here. Now the way I did this, the screencast I actually uploaded, this is like a feature in Stadia where you can, if you're on a PC, and I'm doing this on a PC, mind you, so it's Stadia downloaded, you have the Stadia app downloaded to a Windows PC. This is a wired Starlink connection, and I'm playing Destiny 2. When I don't play a lot of Destiny. This is my first time actually playing Destiny, so it's a fun game. I used to play a ton of Halo back in the day and a lot of first-person shooters. So this is my first time actually trying out Destiny. I never played Destiny 1 or anything like that. As you can see here, yeah, I mean, it's not a high-end computer. I have a Dell XPS 15. Which has a dedicated graphics card, but I don't think the graphics card makes a huge difference when you're using Stadia. So this is when things are going well. You know, you don't really notice any lag. Frame rate looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it played really well for the most part. Not perfect, but pretty well, especially given the configuration we're talking about. So now here's what happens when it doesn't go well. So it's not all rainbows and butterflies, unfortunately. So yeah, what do we got when it doesn't work well? So I have some snippets of that. So in this video, I was playing, and in order to get these screenshots, I had to use OBS, which is an application that will allow you to cast your screen. It didn't like trying to capture my screen while I'm playing a game. It crashed a lot, no matter what I did. But I was able to get it to work sometimes. In order to get the Stadia connection screens and the pop-ups, you have to do that. So you can see there, I was checking the connection speed, and right there it said it was excellent. So I was starting, everything looks good. A lot of the time that's what it says. And when it's saying excellent, everything's going great. But as I kept playing, there will be times where you get these pop-ups in the center of the screen, and they're not seen when you're casting to YouTube, which is kind of the native casting tool that they want you to be using, because it doesn't even put any of the overhead on your machine because it's doing it straight from their servers. You'll see it pop up here in just a moment. I think twice in this recording, I captured a couple different instances of it occurring. And when you see these pop-ups, it's saying, hey, you might have a connection issue, or you might get a dropped connection. So right there, the game may stop because your connection isn't stable. And if I were to pull up that little side menu and check the connection, it would say fair, or poor. And that happens from time to time, and it's intermittent. It's not consistently that way. A lot of the times it says excellent, and there's no problems at all. My conjecture here is whenever the satellites are having an issue getting coverage, or maybe when you're transitioning between satellites that don't have a very good overlap, there's going to be these moments where you have a poor connection. And so most of the time it didn't stop anything. I just got the pop-up, and maybe a little more, the frame rate seemed to drop a little bit, and so it wasn't perfect, but it was no means unplayable. Now, the caveat there was that there was a couple moments where I was trying to play, and I actually had a completely dropped connection. I would say maybe 2 or 3 times in 4 hours. So played maybe 4 hours, and the day that I was doing all this testing, got the pop-ups every once in a while, didn't really bother me much, but there was maybe 2-3 times where it pretty much crashed Stadia, and I had to go back in and start up again. But it was no more than 10 or 15 seconds. You got off, you got back on. So if you're a really big competitive gamer, and your kill count and how many deaths you have and that kind of stuff, or whatever game you're playing where every little critical moment matters and every frame matters, it's going to be tough. It's not perfect. Now the theory will be this gets better over time, because case in point, like we've kind of talked about in some of my previous videos, and I'll pull it up here. Let's see. There's a coverage map, and they are still working on getting, even in the beta testing zone, they're working pretty hard to get 100% coverage. They don't have it yet. So if you come and pull out, this is satellite map.space, and this is, out of all the different tools I've seen that kind of map out where the satellites are for Starlink, this is the best one. And so you can see I'm in Washington, in Yakima, Washington, which is about here where my mouse is. And you can see there's about to be a gap right here, even though there's a bunch of satellites. And you can see there's more overlap than is probably necessary on a lot of these satellites, which can, to me, means these are still working out positioning. They're still trying to get these things in the right position to get a nice mesh coverage. I mean, you can see what they're probably shooting for down in this area. You see the overlap these satellites have right here. This is probably what they're going to be shooting for. You want a good amount of overlap, but not too much. Otherwise, there's maybe too many transitions going on. And you definitely don't want gaps like this. So when you have something like that, these green circles represent the coverage area. The little red dots represent the satellites. If it's nighttime, it's white. If they're white dots, it's the day. It means it's the daytime. But each one of these dots is a satellite, and the ring is its theoretical coverage area. So it's something that I think will improve over time. So it's playable for people that are just horsing around, having some fun, don't mind getting disconnected every now and again. But if you're expecting perfection, it's not that yet. But when it works well, it's perfect. It's not any worse than I would have on a typical wired connection. But when it isn't, working perfectly. It's definitely getting dropped from time to time. So, but if you're like me and you are dealing with a WISP, a wireless ISP, and that's what I had before I got Starlink, I'm dealing with point-to-point wireless connection anyway, and that has its own issues and much worse latency. Or if you have DSL and you have bad latency and really poor download and upload speeds, you can have your own challenges there, especially if you have other people in the house trying to do stuff. So there's still many scenarios where, you know, Starlink, even in its current state, is going to beat the snot out of whatever you got. And I would say that's if you have a wireless ISP or a crappy DSL link, or even Viasat or HughesNet or something like that. It's probably going to be better than all those. Is it better than, you know, high-speed broadband yet, or, you know, fiber? No, it's not. And I don't think it ever will be better than that if you have a decent wired ISP, high-speed internet ISP. So, yeah, hopefully you guys found this information useful. If you want, I can post more of the gaming that I did, but I don't know that I'm an excellent Destiny player, so I don't know if anybody's interested in that. But yeah, please like and subscribe for more Starlink update videos. Hopefully have some more content coming in the coming weeks. I want to get a video done on how to set up Starlink with your own personal router. So I'll be looking to do that here in the near future. You know, how to set it up if you're not going to use the Starlink router and you want to get your own home mesh set up and all that good stuff. So I've been kind of tinkering with that. Once I get it all straight, I plan on making a video. So please like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.